Well, it was released. So the film was released 2019. That's when we debuted it, and we've been screening the film pretty much nonstop since late 2019. I got involved because I was working on my own project regarding Haiti and sports documentary. Um, and I was like kind of just on YouTube, like looking up different videos, and I came across a trailer for Madan Sara. Uh, that's the creator Etant Dupain's trailer at the time. It wasn't a fully finished film, so I reached out because he was farther ahead of me in terms of like filmmaking, and just basically wanted to be a part of the team. So he was gracious enough to let me join, and we all kind of worked together to kind of get the film finished. So this was like maybe 2 years before the film was actually complete. And once it was complete, we just kind of started working together in terms of like showing it across the world and making different connections with different universities, libraries like Bloomfield and other places like around the world to kind of show a different side of Haiti, um, bring different information in terms of like how people understand the country and how the different, what connects it to what's going on across the wider world, even in our country today with the immigration debate and everything else that's associated with immigration in the U.S. and how it affects, how the Madan Sara story would have an impact on that.
What are the Madan Saras as popular now as they were when you made the movie?
Yeah, I mean, well, in terms of like the actual women and people who actually do the work of the Madan Saras, it's a, I guess you could call it like a staple for the country. The issue is their ability to survive and thrive in terms of like within their own society because like the film kind of depicts, they're kind of allowed to subsist on a certain level and they're not able to kind of take those next steps for a variety of reasons, patriarchy, how they're viewed in society, um, loans, access to loans, credit, all that kind of stuff plays a role in how they're treated. And a lot of times they're not treated very nice. So there are a lot of tough women that actually do this job. So yeah, in general, I don't think it's a thing that will go away. What they do is not dissimilar to a lot of women do around the world. Manasai is obviously just the name for Haiti, but there are different nicknames for the kind of women that do that kind of work. And all across the world, you'll see the same issue of them being kind of mistreated, not being treated with a lot of respect, them being to a certain degree at the bottom of the economic ladder, where the work that they do and how hard they work kind of dictates they should be at the top or near the top. So there are a lot of different issues that are in play with the Madan Sara, and we just use the film to kind of highlight a lot of those issues in the Haitian context, but in a worldwide context, hopefully as well too.
No, I think that's so important. Has the government made any changes since the movie to make things sort of better to protect these women more, as far as getting loans easier or less risk of theft and fires? And, there's just so much going against them, but they have a wonderful spirit.
Yeah, I mean, if there's no hope, I guess you kind of keep pushing, kind of keep pushing to kind of do what you have to do. But I think a lot of the government hasn't done anything. Actually, it's gotten worse because at the time, the president was alive when we did the film, and then he got assassinated after the film was, kind of released. So for the most part, nothing's been done. It's actually gotten a lot worse, and the women are just kind of left to kind of fend for themselves, like most of the country, to be honest with you, because a lot of their would-be customers are people that were part of like the Biden program, and the people that are left, still still a large population, but the buying power is not the same. And because of that, they have to go to smaller cities. So, for example, if we were in New York City, um, you know, with all of whatever, I don't know how many people are in New York now, 10 million people, and you have to like, no disrespect to Bloomfield, but you have to go to Bloomfield to sell your products. That's a lot of product that you're bringing to Bloomfield, and Bloomfield will be able to handle that. So a lot of the food vis-a-vis Haiti rots on the side of the road because the people don't have the buying power, and there's too much supply going into a smaller community. So
Yeah, I assume that the government is not supporting the farmers the way that sometimes happens, in the United States.
yeah, no, I mean for our farmers, they get a lot of aid. So I don't know if anyone follows the farm bill in the U.S., but there's a lot
They
of
do.
embedded aid.
Right,
There's a lot of
right.
There's a lot of embedded aid in those bills. A lot of welfare. Well, won't call it welfare, but basically like subsidies for like soybeans. That's kind of like the big debate now with a lot of farmers in the Midwest. The soybean market is gone because they used to sell their soybeans to China, but the U.S. government had a hand in making sure that those soybeans got to China through marketing and farm shows. It's a whole thing, but um, yeah, they don't get that kind of support down there in Haiti. Essentially, our rice. Well, during the pandemic, when the the uh, the trade was kind of messed up around the world, a lot of the farmers were complaining in states like Louisiana, Missouri, Texas that they couldn't get their rice to Haiti because, and they were complaining about them losing money because it was $1 billion market. So it's $1 billion every year for rice farmers in Haiti, and Haitian farmers don't have $1 billion market, so their rice just kind of goes away or just rots. And our farmers need that market because no one's walking away from $1 billion. Um,
Right, right.
so it's good for our country, good for our farmers, but their farmers don't get that same market access to other countries. So, they're just kind of left to starve. So eventually what happens is they either sell the farm or get a loan on it, move to a city where there are no jobs or jobs that they can get. And then they end up getting on a boat to come here or Canada or wherever. And, when from the U.S. standpoint, when we're looking at migrants coming here, sometimes it can generate certain kind of anger among certain people without them kind of knowing the
Yes,
roots.
unfortunately, very much
Right,
unfortunately.
right, but them not knowing the roots of why that is, it just kind of looks like people looking to mooch off the system. So it's a whole thing.
It's amazed me in the documentary how much is, imported into the country and how little is exported.
Oh yeah, I mean, once you go through that dynamic, it kind of answers a lot of questions on why certain countries are the way they are. Haiti
Mhm.
being one of them. And when you don't produce, you don't sell. There are no jobs, and no jobs means a lot of people are leaving, educated people too, but people nonetheless that could actually improve the situation if the economy were a lot better. Not to say that it's all about money, but that is a big part of it. And when you import that much and you export so little, the
Mhm.
brain drain also leaves the country too because they're looking for opportunities as well too. So hence the migration issue that we're in the middle of right now. And yeah, I mean there are a lot of roots to why things are the way they are, but I think not explained properly. Even for myself, it took me a while to really understand all the moving parts to it. And that's me, months of reading and listening to different podcasts and just trying radio shows, etc., and just trying to understand the situation better. So, imagine someone who doesn't know, who doesn't do all of that, and just sees what they see and just kind of reacts the way they do.
Yes, it's very, very sad. From a personal viewpoint, tell us a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind?
Sure,
Did you
sure,
where you were born, a little bit about your story, if that's okay?
sure, sure. Yeah, so I was born in Brooklyn, New York. Um,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I'm born and raised in Brooklyn. My mother's from Haiti. She's from Cap Haitien. Um, and yeah, I mean, she left the country like, I don't know, 50 years ago, maybe 60, a long time. And she never went back. And I never went. So when I was kind of how I kind of fell into the whole Haiti thing was I was no, I went to Brazil for the World Cup and I was like gambling on like soccer games. And right before I left, she told me a story about like the Haitian soccer team like going to the World Cup in 72, yeah, 1974, sorry. And I didn't really believe her, but I remember looking it up and it was actually like a real story. So then, I just kind of led me into the like, all right, well, since it was a real story, no one actually told it. I try to tell it myself, through documentary style. So while I was working on that film, I saw Etant's trailer, spoke with Etant to help him finish Madan Sara along with the rest of the team. And yeah, here we are, couple, what, 6 years later, screening the film still. So, but the
Now
topic,
let's
oh, sorry.
oh, I was gonna say, what's the status with your documentary? Because that sounds very interesting.
Yeah, no, we're actually almost finished with that. Trying to get it done before the World Cup in 2026, because it's going to be on this side of the world, US, Canada. I think Mexico has a few games too. I'm not gonna have to look that up. So hopefully, I'll have it done. But if not, soccer's a, global story. So, you can tell that story anytime. But, we'd like to have it done before then. Um, and, we're just trying to finish putting the pieces together for that film. But this film kind of leads into the soccer film because it kind of sensitizes people to Haiti and the story, and hopefully gets fans or people interested, and you can deliver more stories like that, and kind of collaborate with other filmmakers to kind of help them bring their stories out as well too. Um, yeah, and we just kind of see how it goes from there.
What can people do if they want to help with anything connected to Haiti? What do you suggest?
Ooh, it's a big question. I would say, so there's a lot of organizations doing a lot of different things in the country. I would say maybe try to find one that's like ethical, meaning, if they file 501(c)(3)s, if
Mhm.
they're up to date on their tax filings, reading what they're about, because there are a lot of organizations that kind of focused on evangelizing the people and not necessarily helping them.
Right.
That's a big thing, and and it's not singular to any one religion, but that seems to be a common theme amongst many of the religions in the country,
Yes.
to kind of evangelize them. But free will, I guess, too. At the same time, you want to make sure that they're ethical enough and they're actually doing the real work. There's a lot of, and it's not only specific to Haiti, but there are a lot of organizations that go take very sad pictures of certain people in the country and kind of use it to fundraise and don't help the country. So, you have that as well too, a lot of exploitation. So you want to at least try to make sure that they're not exploiting. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with showing the work that you're doing, but I think there is a fine line. And that's why, you know, to a degree, a lot of people don't like their pictures taken because their pictures are used however which
Right.
way and they don't know. Um, and lastly, I guess if we had to kind of add in something personal, we try to find people who are actually like doing real work, good work, like we say. There's a health insurance company that we kind of work with, um, where basically they provide health insurance. Not It's not super expensive health insurance, but it's decent enough uh, for people in Haiti, and we try to work with that company to kind of promote their product, which is called Dashante. That's the name of the company, and I'll share the information with you as well too. So maybe you can post it with the video. But they provide health insurance to the women because when you're a Madan Sara, you're sitting in a market for hours at a time, probably 10 to 12 hours at a time. Sometimes there's no bathroom facilities. So for women, for anybody, it's important for women especially. And you're in the hot sun. Sometimes it rains
Mhm,
during the
mhm.
hurricane or just flash rain. So there are a lot of those things that aren't in place for the Madan Sara. So providing or helping them get health insurance, is a big deal because you need to be healthy to sell. So that's just what it is. And, we just try to find people who do stuff like that, microfinanciers with decent rates. Um, and, we just try to help the ecosystem around the Madan Sara as much as we can.
I think it's wonderful. If you can email me the link or the email for that insurance, I'd like to send it on to everybody. I really appreciate you doing this. And as I said, I'd like to have you come back again in the spring, but
Sure,
I'd also
absolutely.
like you to come back with your documentary too when it's ready.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
The goal obviously is to show the film selfishly, right? We always want to show the film wherever we can, but also just to create a bridge for obviously our stuff, but for other filmmakers as well too, because it's a lot of good stories, specifically with Haiti. There are a lot of good stories that can be told, and some that are told but aren't really seen. Because sometimes when you make a film, it just kind of disappears into a vault, and with the since we are in the streaming era, things just resurface for whatever different reason. And I think we want to keep these films and these topics top of mind. So, we could try to crowdsource some solutions and, make the world a better place.
I I agree 100%. It was just a privilege. I'm going to stop recording, but I thank you for taking your time for showing us the documentary, and I hope we get to see it again in the spring.
Absolutely. Yeah, hopefully we'll do it in person in
Yes.
Bloomfield. So
Thank you so much.
no problem.